Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're taking a look at something incredibly foundational, the Ten Commandments.
That's right.
But we're not just, reading them off a list. We're going on a bit of a journey through some sources. And these sources reveal a, surprisingly deep cosmic conflict hidden within what might seem like simple rules.
Absolutely. We'll be exploring the second half, really. Thou shalt not kill, commit adultery, steal, bear false witness, and covet. But our mission, you could say, is to understand them not just as, ethical guidelines, more like a blueprint for spiritual struggle, a fight for truth and dominion. You get these aha moments about good and evil.
Okay, let's dive in then, starting with number 6. Thou shalt not kill. Now, the sources say this isn't just about physical murder. It's deeper, like the spiritual assassination of truth itself. Personified, they say, by the Lord Jesus.
Exactly. And Satan is described, as a murderer from the beginning, the father of lies. The idea is he systematically sought to mislead and, kill, from this figure Halil to Adam and ultimately Jesus.
And you see hints of this pattern historically, right? Herod and the infants, the plots against Jesus.
It's presented as a consistent strategy.
Yeah, and here's where it gets really interesting for me. The idea that even hating a brother is like akin to murder. That really expands how you think about sin way beyond just the obvious actions.
And a key insight really from the sources is this assertion that Jesus' life itself serves as the commandment. So anything that deviates from his actions, his words, strictly speaking, that's presented as sin. It makes you ask, right? How does that shift our perspective on just everyday choices?
Definitely food for thought. Okay, moving from killing truth to corrupting purity. Commandment 7, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Yes. And again, the deep dive expands this. It's about spiritual fidelity. The sources suggest Satan's aim is to corrupt Jesus' bride, which symbolizes first Israel, then the church, those dedicated to God.
Trying to make her spiritually unfaithful to the divine word.
Precisely. That's the core idea presented.
So what does this all mean for us listening right now? It suggests that our strong affections for the world, maybe loving worldly things too much, that could actually be seen as spiritual adultery, making us sort of enemies of God.
That's the connection James makes, yeah. And if you look at the bigger picture, God's ultimate desire, according to these texts, is for all people to become his image, his true bride. So Satan's attempts to make us, adulterous, are framed as directly opposing that huge grand design.
It's a constant battle for loyalty then, which ties into the next one, thou shalt not steal, commandment 8. This isn't just about pickpocketing, is it? It's framed as a cosmic battle for dominion, for inheritance.
Exactly. The sources explain that the divine son, the second God, as some traditions term it, by becoming human, he emptied himself, humbled himself, and in doing so became an heir who needed to inherit space-time itself.
Okay.
And Satan seeks to steal that inheritance. How? By trying to prove God's fundamental law, the law of love, is invalid or impossible.
Right. And we see examples, maybe echoes of this, in things like religious hypocrisy, like offering sacrifices, but without real obedience, turning the temple into a den of robbers, essentially misusing God's house.
That's a key example used, yes. It highlights acting religious while undermining the core principle. And this raises a crucial question in the texts. If you could remove the law of love, what's left? The suggestion is, rule by force. Might makes right. And Satan might arguably be the strongest power in that scenario.
But Jesus' victory over death, that proved the law could be kept.
That's the argument. It demonstrated the law's truth, its achievability, and its foundation for true dominion, not based on force, but love.
Which brings us to number 9. Thou shalt not bear false witness. This gets transformed into lying against your true neighbor, who is Jesus, the embodiment of truth itself.
Lying against the truth.
So this would include things like claiming the law of love is impossible, or even denying Jesus' incarnation.
Yes, those are presented as forms of bearing false witness against the ultimate reality.
And this gets quite personal, doesn't it? The sources say people bear false witness often because of their own stuff, their own sinful desires that make them resist love's command.
Right.
It's almost like self-deception.
It is. It's fascinating how the texts suggest our own unfulfilled desires can actually blind us, make us think we're serving God or doing right when we're actually maybe inadvertently serving deception. Makes you think critically about your own motives, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, finally, the 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet. This isn't just wander your neighbor's car. It encompasses Satan's ultimate desire to usurp Jesus' bride, the church, and his universal inheritance, all of space-time. It's the ultimate coveting.
That's the interpretation, yes. The church is depicted as Jesus's helper suitable, kind of like Eve for Adam, instrumental in demonstrating the truth of the law through obedience, even through martyrdom sometimes.
Wow. So the sources paint this dramatic picture. The bride's role as a witness, even dying for the truth. That's actually critical to proving the law and ultimately casting Satan out.
It's presented as a vital part of the cosmic proof. And tying this all together, the love of God is seen as being expressed in these commandments. Jesus' sacrifice proved both God's love and his justice, demonstrating the profound truth embedded in these laws. And the church, as the bride, becomes this essential partner in, you could say, completing creation by living out and demonstrating that final truth.
What an incredible journey, really digging into the spiritual dimensions behind these ancient rules. It genuinely reshapes how you might understand good and evil and just the significance of our choices.
It really does. These commandments, seen this way, aren't just ethical demands, they're reflections of a cosmic order. And Jesus' life, death, and resurrection are presented as the ultimate proof of their truth. So maybe something for you, the listener, to consider is this. If these rules, which seem simple on the surface, are actually part of such a grand cosmic story, what might that imply about the hidden depths, the real implications of your own daily decisions?